A secret relationship with a mysterious entity. In a world with demonic monsters called Shenguai, a young orphan named Ku lives alone in the mountains with a mysterious Shenguai named Chiyou. But Chiyou has a tragic past. Ku will have to give all of himself in order to save her. A mysterious East Asia adventure now begins. So hello and welcome to a manga review. We are going over the very first chapter of Kaedegami, which is a brand new weekly Shonen Jump series by Jun Harukawa. It is a fantasy story, and I believe it is set in China, which is pretty interesting because there's not that many manga set in ancient China. There's a lot of manhwa in ancient China, but not much manga in ancient China. The first chapter sets in Shuraku village, which is in a remote eastern frontier. And in this world, there are these mysterious beings called Shenguai. And Shenguai are basically demons, monsters, gods. They, in the real world, they actually refer to Chinese literature that deals with spirits and monsters, gods and demons from Chinese mythology. So I guess Shenguai is actually a type of fiction, it's actually a type of genre. But in the manga, they are just another way to refer to monsters. And our main character is Ku. Ku appears to be either a teenager or a young adult. As a child, Ku was abandoned by his father in the woods. We have no idea what happened to his mother. His mother's never even mentioned. Maybe she died during childbirth or something. But the dad abandoned him in the woods. And Ku pretty much was setting himself up to die. He decided that he was going to wait at the spot his dad abandoned him and just hope that his dad would come back for him. But his dad never did. So days passed and he was starving. And then a Shenguai actually shows up. And this is our secondary protagonist. This is Chiyou. Chiyou is a Shenguai that's has...
She's got huge tracts of land.
Pretty cool mask. Constantly hiding her face. Chinese attire. Another interesting thing is that Chiyou is actually a real-life Chinese mythological figure. According to Wikipedia, he was a tribal leader of the Nine Li tribe in ancient China, and he is best known as a king who lost against the future Yellow Emperor, and he was associated with chaos and war. Only here, it's not a he, it's a she. But she comes across him, and she decides to take him in. She is fascinated by him, and decides to just kind of raise him, I guess, teaching him how to gather, how to forage, how to hunt, how to read. So strengthening his mind, his body, his spirit. Well, he kind of asks her, like, if you're a Shenguai, why did you bother helping me? And she just says that she felt lonely, that she has been around for a very, very long time, never really dealt with other people, and she just grew weary of being alone. And you interested me, so I decided, why not? Why not keep you around for a little bit? And Ku has a wish, and that wish is to see Chiyou's face. Of all the time they spent together, years have passed, not once has he ever been able to see her face. And he wants to see her face and he wants to see her smile. That's his goal, that's his wish. One day while fishing with her, he starts talking about how he was in the village earlier and a little girl showed up, basically talking about how a Shenguai has attacked a nearby village and slaughtered everybody. And he just tells Chiyou about it and like, what should we do? Chiyou says, well, we should flee. We should not deal with fighting against other Shenguais. We should just get out of here. I will say that their relationship together is pretty interesting. It's not necessarily romantic yet, but there are signs that it could be. But it's also not brotherly, sisterly. It's kind of interesting. She kind of, I don't want to say raised him, but she did teach him how to survive. But he also doesn't like take orders from her or follow her around or see her as an authority figure. Like they're pretty much equal in terms of their standings. She is someone that he really cares for. I mean, they've been living in the woods for so long that they're, I guess to him, inseparable. One day he decides to go into the village to return this pot that he was borrowing from this old lady. And the little girl who was mentioning the Shenguai shows up. And she is freaking out. She looks crazy. She basically explains that I saw it. I saw the creature. It saw me and smiled. I think it's coming this way. It was in the woods. And of course, Ku freaks out because that's where their home is. That's where Chiyou is. And he doesn't want anything to happen to her. So he rushes back towards their cabin in the woods where he sees what looks like, I want to say a giant kappa, but kappa is Japanese and this is Chinese. I'm not all that familiar with Chinese figures, like in terms of demons and stuff like that. I will say the design is really, really cool. It kind of looks like the little goblin dude from Inuyasha, the one that's always following Shishomaru around, only giant size, with a bunch of decapitated heads wrapped around his neck like a necklace. Really cool design. But Chiyou is kind of weak, down for the count. She was sleeping when this guy attacked her, and Ku puts himself in front of Chiyou and he's going to protect her. And that's when this demon creature basically is like, "Why? What are you doing?" And Ku says, "She's my family. What do you think I'm doing?" And the demon says, "Your family? Oh, I get it now. You must be in its thrall. But it hasn't possessed you yet, has it?" And the demon basically says that Chiyou has been lying to you. Like, he knows who Chiyou is. And he says, "Chiyou didn't tell you anything about herself, did she?" And this hits Ku because it's true. She hasn't really talked much about her past. Anytime he's asked her questions about it, she's been kind of vague. And so he basically says that Chiyou is the god Shenguai who lost his body and is now doomed to wander in misery. Chiyou is the god of war itself, which kind of goes back to the mythological figure named Chiyou. So they're both associated with war. Her mask finally gets knocked off and he gets to see her face for the first time. Or where her face should be. Instead, it's just a gaping hole. Her face is missing. As the demon explained earlier, a lot of her body parts have been taken from her. She's weak. All she wants is the body that was lost to her. She wants to gather all her body parts together, but she needs a vessel enabled to do that. A nice sturdy vessel, like you. Basically insinuating that the only reason Chiyou kept Ku alive and raised him and stuff was because she wanted to make him strong so that she can take over his body, possess him, and gain some of her strength back so that she can go and gather the rest of her body parts together. But Ku doesn't believe this. He throws some sand in the demon's eyes, and while the demon is blinded, he grabs Chiyou, rushes away. They try to make a break for it, but eventually they stop because, they kind of fall in some water. They're tired. And Ku asks her what that demon said. Is it true? Or are you just planning to possess me? And he even goes to try to touch her. It looks like he's trying to grab her titty. His hand just kind of goes through the chest. And she says, "There's nothing there. I'm empty. I'm hollow." And she explains that a long time ago she was defeated. And they took everything. They took her face. They took her entrails that she needs to eat, which is why Ku has never been able to see her eat any food. They took her hands, her legs that she needs to fight. And she's been wandering alone in darkness ever since, striving to get them back. And then she took Ku in. And in her current form, she cannot fight effectively. She needs another body. So she intended to raise him to serve as her vessel at first. But then Ku became much too dear to her. And the thought of stealing his body for her own, it hurts her. Like, she doesn't want to do that. So she's like, "Well, now that you know the truth, let's part ways. I'll go and try to slay this creature." And Goose says, "But if that's true, then why would you need to fight him? Like, if you're so weak, maybe just leave. Like, let's run away together." And she explains that one of the faces this demon carries is hers. So this demon has one of her body parts, and she wants to get it back. That's her desire, is to gather all her body parts together. So basically, this is kind of like Dororo, only with ancient China instead of ancient Japan. Anyways, because Chiyou means so much to Ku, he decides that, I'll work with you. I'll be your vessel. We'll take down that guy, and I'll finally be able to see your face. So go ahead and use me. Possess me if you want. We'll be able to catch him off guard. I'll be your vessel, even if it costs me my life. Then he realizes, well, I guess if I do that, then I won't be able to see your face because I'll be dead. But still, you mean too much to me. Like, you saved me that day. That day you found me. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So this time, it's my turn to save you. And that's when she reveals that there's actually a way that she can take partial possession. She can make him her vessel, and they can defeat the enemy. And in exchange, I will grant all of myself to you. So basically, I won't fully possess you. We'll make like a contract. But we kind of have like a Chainsaw Man going here with devil contracts. And he accepts the deal, And we get a fight scene. I say fight scene, but it's not really a fight scene. We just get him doing one attack. Like he just slashes at the creature and kills it. So while the artwork is beautiful, the panel layouts is beautiful. Like the flow from one panel to the other is amazing. I can't judge the action scenes itself because we didn't really get much. It's pretty much he swung his sword, he lops off this demon's head, it's over. We don't really get an actual fight. People are calling this a battle shonen. Maybe it is. It's kind of hard to say if this is going to be a good battle shonen or not in terms of the action scenes because there's not enough here to judge that. I will say that all the other artwork so far has been amazing. So hopefully the action scenes, when we actually get some, full drawn out fight scenes, it'll be just as great as all the other stuff. But Ku eventually wakes up and he sees Chiyou in front of him. And she has her face. And of course, she's super attractive. And they pretty much hug. They're happy. They both, survived. And they decide that they're going to journey across the lands together in order to find the rest of her body parts so that she can become whole again. So again, this is pretty much Dororo, only with a big titty monster girl as the main focus of the person trying to get their body parts. I will say I really liked it. I thought it was good. I like the characters so far. I think it's done a really good job of kind of building a little bit of this universe. I'm assuming the next few chapters will get more like actual world building. We have like the setup here. This is a really good first chapter. We set up what this world kind of is. We set up a little bit of the lore with the Shenguais. We get enough of the two main characters so that we see a little bit of what their backstory is, what their personalities are, and what their goals are. So I think it's done a really good job of basically setting everything up and giving you a decent amount of information. Obviously not everything is answered, like who attacked her, why did they attack her, why did they steal her body parts. I'm assuming that's stuff that we're going to find later on as the story continues. Obviously you don't want to give all the answers away in the very first chapter. But I think this is a really awesome start so far. Artwork, like I said, is beautiful. I really do like the characters. Our two main characters are very interesting. I like seeing a shonen protagonist that's not your typical cliche cookie cutter, cardboard cutout type of character. The one that like they're constantly crying or they're constantly yelling or they, are naive or stupid. Ku seems to be pretty intelligent for the most part. I mean, we didn't really see him using too much of his brains, but we see that Chiyou has done a pretty decent job of raising him and teaching him. He was smart enough to basically do the pocket sand attack on this demon to buy them time to escape. So he's not a complete airhead, which is great. Chiyou seems to kind of have this mix between being aloof and easygoing and flirty without kind of being flirty. Like she's very playful. But then she can also like kind of clam up and be stoic whenever her past is revealed. So there's a lot of interesting dynamics here. I think this is a really good start. I'll leave a link down in the description below where you can read it for yourself. I would recommend checking this out. I think this is a really good start of the most recent Weekly Shonen Jump series, like some of the new stuff that have come out. I would say this one has the most promising start in a while. Outside of Ichi the Witch and Kagurabachi, I think this is like one of the best first chapters. Now we'll just have to see if the following chapters live up to this and if it can maintain its momentum. But so far, it's off to a really good start. There you go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.